guys see me? I know I'm really.
What is up, everybody? It's another Hicksey Nana podcast, Corona Chronicles. We got your boy Joe Kmetz up in the building. We got your boy Dave, a selfie. Boys, how we holding up right now in isolation? Dave, go first.
I am. Actually, let Joe go first. I feel like he has more to say.
Joe, I felt bad. I kind of interrupted you right there. You go ahead, buddy.
I mean, it's kind of boring. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. The quicker we all get isolated, the quicker this all ends. So yeah. Dave, how about you, buddy? Thank you for having me on the show, by the way, guys.
Yeah, no problem, Joe.
Thanks for coming, buddy. Thanks for coming.
Exactly. As for me, like I said, it's kind of like a normal day for me, really, because that's typically I typically leave my life when I'm during the school year anyway. So I mean, it's not that bad. It just it sucks that everyone is home and I just can't see them. That's the only thing that really blows about it. But other than that, I can't really complain.
No, I definitely feel that, Dave. Like, I feel, like you're right. I don't go out a lot, all right? I stay home. I do my homework. I play video games for the most part. Now, all my friends are home, and I feel like I have this opportunity where, oh, my God, I have all this time to hang out with my friends. But guess what? We're going to all die. You know what I mean?
Well, not us, really. Just our parents.
We're all going to die. The end of the world is here.
Yo, literally. I was listening to that song. You know that song by REM? It's the End of the World.
Yes,
I was listening to that today.
Yes.
I was listening to that today. I was like, this is literally what's happening right now. I was like, this is it. Like, oh my goodness, man.
You know what? Let's kind of throw it back a little bit. Let's throw it back to Joe Kmetz's spring break, because I feel like that's when the Corona scare really began. It was during our B-Dubs trip, right? We had the big four. We had Dave, we had Joe, we had myself, and we had Jackson. We were going to B-Dubs, and I think that was like, it was either the day of or the day after the first site was in the United States.
Yeah, something.
I remember at the time being like, coronavirus, just a little germ. It's going to go away. You know what I mean? But it is, it's really made a name for itself. Let me tell you. It's a contender.
It's had a statement past couple of weeks.
It has.
It took March Madness, took all sports, took Tom Hanks, got Idris Elba, from the I know him well from The Office, British guy. Well, a couple of celebrities. Harvey Weinstein has it.
Yeah.
Oh, what a shame! You know what? What a shame, boys. Harvey Weinstein.
Oh no, he got. Oh no, I'm so upset.
A guy with real high character. You know what I mean?
God. He deserves more than
real class act.
Real class act. That's great with women, especially. So, it's too bad. Unfortunate. But yeah, really, at that time, when we were at B-Dubs, I was kind of like, come on, like, let's be real. Sure enough, 2 weeks later, everyone's back home now. We got Joe's home. We got both the Joes home.
Exactly.
We got Jackson home.
All the boys home.
Wait, so when did you guys specifically have your school canceled? Because that's when I started getting scared, when school got canceled.
So I saw, in our group chat, everyone was saying all throughout the, so this is like Wednesday of being back is when we got the email we were done. But it was like as early as Monday, like Central Connecticut was, because my cousin goes to Central, someone at Central had it. They basically said, you guys have to leave immediately. People were like dragging, it was like a end of the world. People were moving stuff out. And we got the email on Wednesday night, but I didn't really think, we were going to go home at the beginning of the week. I was like, oh, this is just happening in other places. But like our school's in the middle of nowhere. It's like if you drop the college in the middle of Beacon Falls, that's where like our school is. We didn't have any like big cities around us. We were pretty isolated from the rest of the world. So like we could, realistically keep going to school. But then all of a sudden we got the email that we were leaving. We were like, oh man. And then the fateful updates of March Madness being canceled. And here I am now.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. So yours was a little bit later. Dave, when was yours?
Mine was like last week, Wednesday. Yeah, mine was last week Wednesday. Because I was in class. We're doing an anatomy lab. I was in the middle of, lab. My teacher was like, I guess he got like a notification from the, from the board or whatever, telling him that like next week, like we're gonna have our spring break, which was this week, but like the next like 2 weeks we're gonna have off. I think we were supposed to go back around like March, like I don't even remember, like sometime later on in March. I don't remember what day it was, but and then like then as the week was ending, we were like, yeah, we're not coming back anymore. And then so that's kind of how it just went out. Like it just came out of nowhere, basically. I wasn't expecting it. No one was expecting it. I was expecting to go back to school very soon, but now the whole thing is canceled now. So that's just it's
So you
it's
guys are
crazy.
like done, right? You guys are like both done for the
Yeah,
year.
we're done.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm doing all the
On
classes.
paper, my school goes back April 15th, but I
Yeah.
don't see that
No
happening. I'll be done for the year.
That's a long shot. That's a
No.
long
Yeah.
shot.
Especially the projections you're saying it's gonna basically get worse before it
Oh,
gets
yeah.
better.
Exactly.
So yeah, there's no chance. Like,
This as
dude,
much as it sucks, people just gotta stay inside.
exactly.
That's all
I
you
still
can do.
remember. I still remember when it was a meme. I still remember when this was a meme. We were making fun of this thing in a group chat. Like
True.
we were going off, and all of a sudden it got here, and we were like, "Oh, oh no!" So, this is nuts.
I'm trying to think of this and like just like how to compare coronavirus to anything else that's happened. I mean, some people are saying 9/11, like how
Not
9/11
even.
really shocked
Yeah.
the world, right? The world
Oh, yeah.
stopped for a couple of days. There was no airfare, but this is like everything. All essential businesses are shut down. The economy is
It's in
in the
jeopardy.
trash can. If
Oh,
it's
yeah.
actually it's not in the trash can, it's below the trash can. If there's anything
Yes.
other
It's
than
in
the
the
trash
dump.
can, that's where the
It's in
economy
the
is right
dump.
now.
It's in the dump right now.
Right.
That's where-
That's completely shot.
Would you?
Most small businesses close down. Restaurants,
Oh,
see you later. Anything that is not considered non-essential, close down.
Yeah.
So it's just it's bad, man. It's bad. This is right up there with, I probably would say, the Great Recession, right?
I mean, if God forbid, if we don't come out of it, depending on how long this shutdown lasts, we could be sitting, on the other end of this, like, oh my gosh, the economy is really in the shitter right now. So
Yeah.
this could be on historic levels of like economy crashing, end of the world stuff.
I wasn't even thinking about that because I don't know why, but yeah, this could definitely set us back for a while now, guys. I gotta be honest.
But
It's insane.
also thinking, you got to think of the potential. Obviously, it's going to go down. But like in all economics, anyone takes an economics class, if it goes down, it's got to go back up.
That's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
While it's down, it's actually pretty not a bad time to start investing. I know as bad as it is to say how bad the economy is doing, but if you can find it at a good time now, buying low, sell high later once it bounces back. The question is, how long this is going to take to bounce back, and will it get back to
What it was
where
before.
it was before?
Yeah. Yep.
That's
That
the
was
real question.
that was a tough question here.
You worry for people with who don't have jobs that are that stable, and you also worry for people like, let's say like there's this new restaurant that opened up in Oxford. My dad was telling me about. It's called like the Sitting Duck Tavern. They opened up like a month ago. Now they have to close for 2 months. They still have to pay rent, and the rent up at that where Five Guys is Market 32. It's really expensive. They're probably gonna go out of business, and they just started their business
Yeah.
because of this. It's crazy.
Yikes, dude. That's an insane level of just. Yeah, imagine doing that though. Imagine starting a business up all of a sudden and you have to shut it down just for 2 months and it just doesn't go anywhere. Like I'd be depressed.
Got to think,
Exactly. Oh, I'm with
if you're not able to adapt to this, if you're not able to come out with some sort of takeout delivery service,
Yeah, you're screwed.
I mean
you. Yeah, exactly.
and then there's also the people, you got to think like the waitresses. I mean that's a big job for kids, our age and even older. People to use that as their careers, being a waiter. So, not having that job, and then businesses are faced with the situation of they're asking people to step down as opposed, or you're gonna have to make the difficult decision as again, like saying like who is the essential staff, who do we keep around? So
Yeah, exactly.
it's it's just probably. I mean, these are tough times, no question about it.
How you guys holding up on the sports end? Because I know when because I'm not really a sports guy, but I know when the March Madness was shut down. I mean, you guys are big sports guys. Like, how were you feeling when you heard that news?
Go ahead, Joey.
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you, Dave. It still stings a little bit, but I'm adapting. I'm kind of like, all right, you know what? Nothing you could do. Now I'm just kind of hanging out, spending a lot more of my free time, during this quarantine, lifting in my gym. I went up to the track up at Woodland. Beautiful day. No one was up there though. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like a ghost town. But I'm kind of flipping the page on the fall seasons. hoping the NBA comes back sometime like late May, early June, finish out the year. It's not going to happen. I'm holding out hope. It's not going to happen. But you know what? It's whatever. I'm kind of turning the page for for football season. Hopefully that doesn't get canceled.
Praying for football. I know. Oh my God!
Yeah, you guys. There's been a lot of big changes in this upcoming season. So like, if this doesn't work out,
look at the MLB. They're having financial problems right now.
Oh really?
They still have to pay. Because think about it with the MLB, Dave. Like I'm going to use the Rockies for example because they own the Hartford Yard Goats.
All right.
They have their AAA, AA, single A. They have like 6 farm teams. All have players on it. They have to pay all those players, coaches, trainers, staff members. They have to pay. Like one MLB organization, you have hundreds and hundreds of people you have to pay. And, it's obviously they have a lot of money, but I got a feeling you're going to see coming out of this, like the lowest levels of the farm leagues are going to just get cut. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And they were already talking about that ahead of, before coronavirus, cutting out a lot of, because there are a lot of levels. If you don't follow baseball, there's high single A, low single A. There's like a Fort Myers team. Those teams are gonna, unfortunately, they're probably a lot of them are have to be cut, and that's unfortunate for some players coming up through the development system that just want to really get a shot. And
yeah, exactly.
Damn, yeah, I didn't even consider that, Joe. That's a really good point. But
yeah, honestly,
jumping back to the March Madness, kind of for me personally, once school got called out for me, I said, oh no, and then. I think the first domino to fall was obviously the NBA canceling their season, because once the major league, because I think prior to that, the NCAA said we're not gonna have any fans at any of the games, which I was like,
yeah, which at first it sucks.
Obviously that sucks, but I could still watch the games. I still have something to occupy myself while I'm in isolation. And then once the NBA season got canceled, it was. The writing was on the wall, right? At that point, I think after that, the NHL canceled their season, MLS, XFL, and then ultimately the conference tournaments were still kind of going on, but those started to get canceled.
The Big East, the first game of the day tipped, and I was like, oh my gosh, the Big East is so back. This is awesome. Because they were the last tournament to cancel, and they were playing games. I'm like, this is awesome. I remember sitting in my room watching, and my dad was coming up telling me to move out some stuff, and it goes to halftime. I'm like, all right, at least we got one game. I go down to let my dad, and I come back up. I see Big East tournament canceled. I'm like, no. And then right when that happened, I knew. I was like, all right, there's only so much more we can do. And here we are.
We're trying our best to try to keep our sports fandom going. So here's what I've been doing. This is weird, but I'll say it. I've been watching the NFL League Pass. They've been handing that out for free, so you can watch all the games from prior seasons. So I've watched every game from the 2015 season of the Jacksonville Jaguars season. I'm up to week 3, and for every single game, I've been writing a blog on each game, pretending as if it is 2015, and I don't know what happens the rest of the year. That's where I am right now.
That's solid.
That's where
Trust me, man. I've been doing the same thing. I've been watching old games. Like they had the old college basketball games on like ESPNU, ESPN. I have ESPN Plus. I'm watching a lot of 30 for 30s. But the one good thing, it was kind of like a break for us, sports fans not having anything. NFL free agency has been insane. Now I don't know if it's been like this a lot because we've had other sports, but now that this is the only thing, I'm realizing a lot of big names went to a lot of places.
That's what I was trying to say before. A lot of big moves are being made in the upcoming for the upcoming season. So it's gonna be. So that's why I'm hoping you guys still get the.
Well, you know what? Let's get it out of the way. Tom Brady's not a Patriot anymore.
Honestly, sentimentally, I know that sucks, but it might have been the best move because would you have really wanted to pay a 40? I know Tom Brady's the GOAT. I hate saying this as a Jets fan, but seeing Tom Brady as a 43-year-old guy, he's getting $50 million from the Buccaneers. Do they really think he's going to be as good as he was a couple years ago?
Well,
you go. No, you go.
All right, so here's the situation with the Patriots. I just read this nice, very good piece by Mike Reese. Very much consider reading this piece. The New England Patriots are the oldest team in the NFL. All right, they have I believe they had 6 players on their roster 30 years plus. The Patriots are also paying players $22.5 million, and they are not on roster. That includes Tom Brady. We're paying him $12.5 million. Antonio Brown, AB. He's getting paid like $7.5, $8.5 million. And I think we're also paying Michael Bennett. We're paying a couple extra guys. So when that adds up, that's $21 million. So I think this was a perfect opportunity for, yes, maybe Brady to step away, because we were so constrained as far as the cap was concerned that there wasn't really much growth that we could do this season. Having him kind of step away, now we can reevaluate what we're going to do offensively. As far as the quarterback's concerned, that being the number one position, whether that be Stidham, whether that be someone else that they bring in free agency.
All jokes aside, I saw today they hired Hoyer. I know Hoyer's no Tom Brady, but he's been there multiple times. He started in the NFL before.
He could be a good placeholder, a good example for Stidham to follow. You know what I mean? But I think ultimately this will be the opportunity for the Patriots to kind of evaluate that position, and then come next offseason, the Patriots are going to have over $100 million in salary cap space, where they can go out and they can really retool their team, get younger, and then try to rebuild what they had in for the last 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, obviously Brady's gone, but how about our boy DeAndre Hopkins? This one was way out of left field.
I saw that. I remember reading that, and at first I saw they were swapping, Dave Johnson and DeAndre Hopkins. Like, okay, but I was expecting the Cardinals to be like, all right, you have 2 first-rounders. What was it, like a second, and they swapped fourths? How? He got so little. And then you see Stephon Diggs, who's a very good receiver, but not DeAndre Hopkins, go for like a first, a third, a fifth, and like 2 sevenths to the Bills. The Bills are going to – if I was a betting man, I think the Bills win the AFC East this year.
They have to be favorites.
At this point, yeah. Right now, obviously, a lot of offseason left, but sitting here today, what's the date? March 22nd, Sunday, 11:19 p.m. The Bills are the favorites, in my opinion, right now. And the Patriots, I feel like, will still make the playoffs because Belichick's just too good of a coach to count out.
The defense is still good. Like, the defense is elite. There's no question about that. The defense, I think, could win us probably upwards to 10 to 11 games. It just really depends on, how the quarterback position works. I mean, the close games that we had won in the past time and time again because of Brady, those games we're not going to win anymore. We're not going to win those games 90% of the time. Now it's going to be, maybe a 50-50 at best. So,
yeah, 'cause it's just the natural course of things. I mean, you have a dynasty that's 20 plus years. Eventually, as much as you hate to say it, it's going to end. Maybe not, I'm not saying they're going to be like 4-12 every year, but you guys this year might not have the best year in the world. But also now with the adding of a 7th team in the playoffs, that's big for my Jets because we have an even better chance to make the playoffs. But also the AFC East is, you know what, Dave? This year our schedule is really tough. We got the NFC West crossover division. The AFC East, besides the Pats, are reloading. The Dolphins got Byron Jones, St. Paul's finest, at cornerback. I saw they were looking at getting Tua in the draft. That's big. Gurley ended up going to the going to the Falcons, but the Dolphins are improving. The Bills got much better with Stephon Diggs.
They were already
the Jets
in the
are getting
playoffs last year.
Yeah, exactly. The Jets are getting a lot of O-linemen in free agency. It's looking like we're going to draft Jerry Jeudy if he's available at 11, which is big. And the AFC East is about to become a very exciting division compared to what it's been over the past 20 years.
Go ahead.
We're forgetting the real deal, boys. We're forgetting the real deal. Where is Antonio Brown going to go?
Antonio Brown is going. He's going to Central Michigan. He's going to Central Michigan. He's going to take online classes for a week, drop out. Then after that, he's going to go to the XFL. Get cut after a week because he doesn't like it there.
Yep.
I need to see Johnny Manziel and Antonio Brown on an XFL team together. That would be electric.
Epic.
I believe that, unfortunately, as great as that sounds, I don't think it's possible because I believe in the XFL, McMahon is very strict about guys who have no like they can't have any criminal history. So guys like
Yeah,
Josh
I actually
Gordon
saw
who
that.
have misdemeanors for marijuana. I believe Manziel had one for like beating up his girlfriend, and AB, I believe, same thing, domestic abuse. So
Never mind.
not happening. But
Don't call
thought.
God. Don't call God.
Maybe he'll make an exception for AB because he's AB.
Yeah,
Maybe
true.
he'll end up on an NFL roster again. I don't know where, but he's gonna
I, I hope
wiggle his
so
way
for this
back in.
because I mean, like, let's be honest. Let's put jokes aside here. I mean,
That was weird. So
he was good. He knew how to run routes. Like
I
I
mean, yeah,
just
he was a great football player. But the
Unbelievable.
problem is,
it's a waste of
do you
talent
want
if you just
do you
yeah.
want that toxic presence in your locker room?
That's true. That's true. I'm just trying to credit him for all the for his for like his skills and all that stuff. Because like let's be honest here, he is very good at his job. He's really good at his craft. He just needs to put his toxicity away and focus on the game. But that's just up to him.
I mean, who knows? Maybe a year away from the game kind of gave him time to reflect, find
Hopefully,
find what's most important. Which for him, you just gotta hope it's football, right? And,
yeah.
put
That's what brought him
put
to the
his
dance.
clout and
That's
ego aside. Yeah.
exactly that's what brought him to the dance. And if because he has he has a music career, quote unquote now. But I don't think his music is that good. I gotta be honest with you, Chiefs. It's not that good.
I've not
So
listened to that. I don't plan on listening to it.
Not going to. Yeah.
it's yeah. I tried it and I was like, wow, this is just not the Playboys. So,
All
but
right. So we've already hit 21 minutes. I wanted to do a quick 10-minute podcast to test this out, but here we are, 21 minutes. I like it. Um, just to wrap this thing up, I want to give a quick shout out to the class of 2020 and RIP. A big L in the group chat for those boys. Not going to be able to
F.
walk. But hey, you know what? Junior year, they did win the Spirit Shovel. So, shout out to them, right?
It's true. It's that counts for something, I guess. Just I'm actually I'm gonna be honest. I'm really happy we got out when we got out, man. Because like imagine not walking. I mean, it's not really a big deal. We were inside for some odd reason because it rained,
We
but
still
we still
walked. We
graduated.
still walked. We still walked the
We
podium.
still walked,
Yeah,
yeah.
you still got
But
there. I remember I
yeah,
watched that. Um, yeah, I graduated obviously, but my year was the year of the tornado that went through.
There
We
you
didn't have
go.
yeah.
school for like a week, and there was talks of not having graduation. So, I mean, I hope
Yeah.
for them, they somehow could have prom, because as much as my brother's complaining, as much as prom sucks, I
Oh,
hope for them they can have their prom. I hope they can somehow find a way to walk, and you know what I mean. Like all jokes aside, and I hope for them they don't have to go to school until June 30th because that was awful.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. I
all the
just
stuff.
drop.
Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
I would drop out at that point. That's what I have to say. No, go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, for all the sentimental reasons, I feel bad for my boys, especially on the baseball team, because I remember my senior season was the season where I look back on my baseball career. It was my favorite year. I was with all my friends. We had one last ride. We had a great season, and
Oh yeah, senior year,
I
dude.
just
You
feel bad,
can't.
man. I mean, that's the last class that I'm playing with. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
After
no.
this, these are
Yeah,
these are all guys that weren't even in the school, so
yeah, I got
I won't
that.
know anyone on the team. So
Yeah, I got that coming up this fall. I'm gonna come back, for my fall break. I'm gonna go to a practice. I'm gonna know Drew Shea's class, Brett Barrett, and them. But out of them, obviously I know Palmieri because I've known them since he was like a little kid. I'm gonna know a couple of kids in that class, but besides those guys, I'm not gonna know anybody. I remember
It's
going.
just
I was talking to some. I remember talking to Samir. Samir's like, I don't know any of these people this year. He doesn't know anyone anymore. It's weird. We've gotten to that point where, you know, no one knows anyone, and
yeah.
like it's gonna be weird going to football games. Like when I come back, like the Woodland Seymour game, it's not gonna be the same. You know what I mean?
Nope,
Because like this year
never.
when we went, at least I got to cheer for Bambi and all them because I knew them, I played with them. But now it's gonna be weird going to games.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
but
I
high
feel like
school kids are weird now, right, guys?
No,
they're
Yeah,
strange.
dude, they're weird.
I heard they're yeah I heard they're I think they're saying my brother was telling me the freshman grade, even the upcoming freshman grade is probably gonna be crazier than like what we've ever had throughout like our whole history of the whole history of Woodland being there. Like it's gonna it's gonna get nuts. So I don't know. I feel like kids today just don't have the respect like like how it was in the beginning. Because in the beginning we had obviously like when you were a freshman, didn't you fear the seniors? Well, not you, Joe, because I know the senior we were.
well, no, well, Will Foreman, Jake Alberti, Max Farron, Varhol,
Yeah,
all those
exactly.
guys could have eaten me alive. And it was like, dude, sports were just different even then. Like I felt like it was still kind of old school.
Yeah, exactly.
And
It had that
then
like
and then, like my junior, senior year, I felt a big switch because a lot of kids quit and our sports suffered because of that for a couple of years. And like when I didn't realize Woodland sports all around had been kind of successful their entire time. And for the first time ever, all the sports were bad at the same time, at least for me. Like, football was awful my junior year. Basketball was not good. Baseball, my junior year, you guys were good, but you guys weren't as good as you were.
Iron Division champions, and we did make the state playoff game. We did lose in the first round, but Iron Division champions.
I remember
Class of 2017, baby. Let's go.
I remember going to that game, actually. Gravline pitched, I remember.
Yeah, tough game, but you know what?
Life goes on.
I remember the good times.
Yeah, dude, trust me. I don't remember the 63-7 loss to Seymour.
I just remember beating Wolcott to win the Iron Division championship. I don't remember the playoff game at all. So.
Yeah, that's like me. I choose to remember beating St. Paul, who was number 6.
Hell yeah. That was an awesome game.
Yeah.
All right, fellas.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry,
yeah.
no, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of something. I just couldn't think of it.
You were like, yeah, fellas, yeah.
Yes.
I wanted to say something about sports, but I just realized I didn't do much sports back in high school. So.
The broadcast games.
The broadcast games, dude. You got any fun memories from track, dude?
Joe, how good of a commentator was Dave?
I just remember the first game of my senior year, the Crosby game, was when you said something about Moffo, and they were like, Coach Moffo is a very intelligent man. That's all you had to say because you didn't know what was going on.
No, it was cringy. Jesus.
Yo, I just remember you said something edit. It has the big three: strength, power, speed. He's an absolute animal.
So what's the difference between strength and power, dude?
I don't know. I wasn't thinking, Joe. I was in the moment. Okay?
Beast.
I love it. Dave, we need you back in the booth.
Dave, gotta get you back in the booth.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
All right, boys, let's wrap it up. It's about 27 minutes. Stay safe out there, everyone.
Yes.
And we'll keep you guys updated. We'll probably be doing more of these because we don't have much else to do.
We have time now. So.
All right. A lot of free time on our hands.
All right, see you, boys.
Joe, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, guys. Always a pleasure.
Yep.
All right, salute, boys.
Bye.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready? I used to pray for times like this, to rhyme like this, so I had to grind like that, to shine like